Hey guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments. Naruto walked down a Konoha street. He bumped into someone. Oh, sorry, I didn't tilde. The person stopped mid-sentence and Naruto prepared himself. But the adult didn't say anything, he just muttered something about a fox brat and turned back to the cart vendor. Naruto looked away sadly and kept walking. That's when he saw it. It was a cat mask with 2 red stripes on each side and a red triangle on the top and bottom of the cat mask. The man behind the shop looked at Naruto. It's you. You want this mask? Take it. The man threw it at Naruto. It hit Naruto square in the face and bounced off onto the ground. Naruto rubbed his face, grabbed the mask and took off running. He glanced back at the mask seller. The mask seller was engaged with another customer. Of course, I'm just trash, not like everybody else. Naruto thought to himself. But then he violently shook his head. No. That's what they all want me to think. I'll show them. I'm going to become Hokage one day, then they'll all respect me. Naruto sat on his bed with a cup of warm milk in his left hand. He drank it and wiped his upper lip with the right hand. He slid into bed and when he was all cozy and tucked in, he decided to pray. Naruto didn't know the traditional beginning for a prayer since no one had ever bothered in trying to teach him. So he started off like he was talking to a regular person. Hey there God. I've never talked to you before. But, you're supposed to be helpful. And I could use some helping out, ya know? I'm not asking for much, just, Naruto's eyes welled up with tears. Just send someone to love me. Naruto ended up falling asleep without saying, Amen. The next day Naruto was walking through another Konoha street when suddenly rush hour, sidewalk version, happened. It was like a conjunction of adults. But as someone got a look at his face, space was created around Naruto. It's that fox key tilde. Shush, you can't say that, it's a taboo. Why don't you just get out of here, kid? Yeah, leave, you're not wanted around here. But Naruto stood his ground, determined not to falter. Didn't you hear us, kid? An adult prepared to hit him. Get out of here. He was about to slap him across the face when a hand grabbed his hand. Whoa there, hitting children, the girl clicked her tongue, how manly of you. The guy ripped his hand from her grip and studied her. She was about 16 had blonde hair and blue eyes, with whiskers on her face. She had on an orange and black jumpsuit. She picked Naruto up and held him at the side. You adults should be ashamed of yourselves. She covered his ears so he couldn't hear. But what she had said was, just because he has the 9 tails sealed in him, you treat him like an outsider. Wasn't the purpose of sealing the Kyuubi in him to prevent rampages? If you keep treating him this way, he'll eventually succumb to the Kyuubi's hatred, then you all really will be screwed. She predicted. The adults murmured and one of the adults spoke out. You speak bold words, but where have you been all this time? Yeah, hypocrite. Where were you for these 6 years? But the girl was ready for them. I've been visiting the other villages and trying to make alliances with some of their fighters. Don't forget that if there is a 4th shinobi war involving Konoha, the citizens will be the first to suffer. Fate might have it so that you all die in any casualties. The adults kept quiet at that one. The girl stopped covering his ears. Nei-chan? Naruto asked. Yes? She answered. What's your name? He wondered. Uzumaki Naruko. She smiled. Naruko's POV. Boy, you're heavy, aren't you? I set Naruto down on the ground. He was still staring at me in awe, probably thinking this was the first time anyone had stood up for him. I was honored, but having a 6-year-old watch you with such intensity was a bit awkward. Hey, I put up a hand, you shouldn't stare at people. It's considered rude. Naruto looked away, sorry. I've never met anyone that actually liked me. I turned around and gave the adults another look. The crowds dispersed as quickly as they had formed. I gave Naruto my hand, you won't have to worry about that anymore. I'm here, and you'll definitely make new friends. He took my hand but his face showed that he doubted my words. Yeah, okay. We've got a lot to work on. I thought to myself. Alright Naruto, can you lead me to where you live? I asked. He nodded. I live by myself so it's messy. I shrugged my shoulders. I'm willing to bet 5,000 yen that I'm messier than you. Naruto cracked a smile. You'd lose a lot of money? Oh yeah? I quickened my pace. We'll see. Show me the house. Naruto, get up. I yelled into his ear. He groggily turned to face me and opened his eyes slightly. Mommy? I smiled at that. No silly, Naruko. I'm your Big sister. He didn't react for a little bit, probably getting out of his sleepy state. Then he shot up straight and turned to look at me. I have a sister? He asked. Yep, I answered. He put his hand on his chin and struck a thinking pose. Then that means you'll make me something to eat, right? Of course, we couldn't have you going hungry. I grinned. Naruto jumped out of bed and ran around in circles saying, I have a sister who knows how to cook. I have a sister who knows how to cook. I laughed. Alright Naruto, go take a shower. Okay, he agreed happily. For a kid who is regarded as a nuisance and a rule breaker, he went along without any question. I brought out a pan, put it on the stovetop and turned on the stove. I mixed flour, 1 1/2 cups of water and 2 tablespoons of oil. I stirred the mixture until the lumps were all gone. Then I raised the mixing spoon out of the bowl and the batter slowly dripped down like a thick chocolate mix. That's when I knew it was ready to be baked. I took a measuring cup and poured as much batter as I could inside it. Then I slowly poured the batter from the measuring cup onto the pan in a spiral motion. Then I let the pancake mix it until bubble formed all over. Then I flipped the pancake onto its uncooked side and waited. When I had finished, the pancake was a golden brown. I wish my pancakes looked as good as hers. They always end up burnt. Third person POV. Naruto was in the bath making sure to wash himself clean. Nate-chan sure is nice to me. He smiled. But I wonder why? Everyone else hates me for no reason. Naruto thought to himself. But she loves me. I wonder where she came from. Oh yeah. She said she had been traveling to the other villages. Why couldn't she have gotten here earlier? Naruto asked out loud. Naruto was very happy to have a guardian. The third Hokage was fun to be around, but he couldn't always take care of Naruto. He had his own responsibilities since the fourth Hokage died. The fourth Hokage, huh? Naruto sighed. Maybe if he was alive, he could tell me who my parents were. Naruto grabbed an orange towel and wrapped himself in it as he got out of the bathtub. He put on a black shirt with a red swirl design on the front of it. Then he put on orange shorts and went into the kitchen. Naruko's POV. Those smell good. Naruto entered the kitchen happily. I put 2 of them on plate and handed it to him. He was about to start eating with his hands when I stopped him. Come on now. There isn't even any syrup on it. I exclaimed. Naruto seemed upset that he had to wait, but his eyes got bigger as I poured syrup all over it. Screw being proportional, and besides, it's only syrup. Naruto grabbed 2 chopsticks and was about to dig in when I stopped him again. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I grabbed the plate. He let out a dramatic huff. What now? You don't eat pancakes with chopsticks, I said. He gave me a puzzled look. Then what do you eat it with? I'm not even sure how the Naruto world is positioned. Are all of the 5 nations in Japan? In one episode of Naruto the Kid series, I remember Ino having to take the place of someone as a look-alike, and she said she liked him because he spoke American. So I'm not really sure, but I'm going to assume that there is an America but still shinobified. You eat them with a fork and knife. I told him. Fork and knife? He asked. I could not believe that he didn't know what a fork and knife was. Well, actually, I could. I went into my bag and brought them out. Then I showed them to him and his eyes glistened. He grabbed them out of my hands, but I didn't mind since he was a kid. How do you use them? He wanted to know. You hold them like this. I put the fork in his left hand and the knife in his right hand, and then cut like this. I directed his hands and held both the fork and knife close to the pancake and cut a piece. By the third cut, Naruto had gotten the hang of it. Awesome, he yelled. I laughed. Alright then. Eat up and stay here. I'm going to go out for a bit, but I'll be back. Naruto got a sad look on his face that he couldn't hide. He was obviously disturbed to hear that I was leaving. I ruffled his hair. Don't worry, I won't be gone long. I smiled. Will you come back? Definitely. Pinky promise? Naruto held out his left pinky. Pinky promise. We locked pinkies. I said goodbye and closed the door behind me. As soon as I was out in the open, I spoke. What do you want? I asked. He came out of the shadows. Danzo Shimura, the shinobi of darkness. So you sensed my presence? Well, you have skills as good as a Jonin. You should apply, maybe work in the Anbu. You would rise through the ranks quickly. He said. Thanks but no thanks. I denied the offer. Now what do you want? Where did you come from? Danzo went straight to the point. I smirked. There's no reason for me to answer that. Either way, if you want to talk, let's do it somewhere else. I don't need Naruto coming out here and persuading me to stay. Danzo agreed silently and I hopped over the railway and down on the ground. I quickly slicked past the building and ran up the side of another building. Within minutes I had hopped over Konoha's village walls and was out in the forest. I looked back and didn't see Danzo. When I faced forward, there he was. I clenched my fists. This guy is the reason Naruto was all alone. I'm sure of it. He had better have something good to say, because when I speak, I'm really going to let him have it. He's the root of all problems for Konoha. And if he dares to lay a hand on Naruto, it won't be pretty. I felt my blood boil. Danzo stood silently, his eyes slightly open, watching me. I tapped my foot impatiently. I don't have time for this. I have a very important 6-year-old I want to take care of. Why are you with him? Danzo finally asked. Excuse me? I wanted to be sure I heard him. The Kyuubi's Jinchuriki. Why are you with him? Danzo asked firmly. Is there a problem? If I didn't step in, one of these days the Kyuubi would go rampant because of all the hatred directed to him. I said, that shouldn't concern you. The Kyuubi would not be able to break the seal that easily. Danzo answered. No, it doesn't concern you. I've heard about you, Danzo Shimura. The glorious Konoha shinobi who created the Anbu that is to protect and serve this village. But in secret, you worked with our enemies. You were willing to hand out information that would put so many people's lives at risk. I paused. Then you even went and tried to kill the Sandai Tilda. How do you know about that? Danzo had lost his calm and collected tone. I smiled. I have my ways of finding things out. But you were wrong to come and tell me what to do. You could be marked as an S-class criminal with my word alone. However, in exchange for a few things I am willing to consider keeping silent about your faults. Danzo pondered this. Fine, what do you want? First, I want you to leave Naruto alone. He is in my care and I will be responsible for him. Second, leave the Uchiha clan alone. I heard about you when the Kyuubi attacked. You convinced the Sandame to order the Uchihas not help. If you hadn't done that, the Yondaime and his wife might have still been alive. I yelled. Danzo just nodded his head, which aggravated me even more. Finally, I took a deep breath. I want to enter the next Junin exams. Danzo smiled creepily after that. So you do have an interest in becoming a ninja. But I will not join the Anbu, so put that hope out quickly. I assured him. Whatever your intentions, they don't concern me. I just hope you stick to your side of the deal. And with that, Danzo disappeared into the darkness. What a stupid waste of time. If he wanted to question me, he could have done it any earlier time. I ran down the forest path. I didn't see her until we were in close range. Too close. I ran into her and we bumped heads. Sorry about that, I said as I looked up. The woman patted the dust off of her dress and helped me up. I bowed. Again, I'm really sorry about that, Tilda. That's when I sensed malicious intent. I looked up to the tree on my left and sure enough there was a guy standing there in the trees. He must have been an Uchiha. His cold red and black Sharingan stared down at me. Could you not be any more suspicious? I asked as he jumped down. He stepped in front of the lady and seemed to be trying to protect her. Why are you here? That's when the lady twisted his left ear. He doubled over in pain. Ow, ow, ow. He yelled when she gave a final yank. Itachi, that's not what you do when meeting someone. She scolded him. So Itachi's his name, EY? Well, he shouldn't go around giving people evil looks. I shook my head. But Mother Tilda. But Mother nothing. Stop being such a downer. If you keep doing that, no girl will like you. She told him. I laughed and Itachi blushed. My name's Makoto. Uchiha Makoto. She held out her hand. I shook it. Uzumaki Naruko. Itachi separated our hands. Mother, you shouldn't be so friendly to every person you meet. She poked him in the forehead. I am an adult, Itachi. I live my life the way I want to. If I want to be friendly, I'll be friendly. Itachi was still holding my hand. Could you let go of my hand? I asked. Itachi noticed he was still gripping it and let go of it quickly, clearly embarrassed. Makoto put her right hand on my left shoulder. I would like to repay you. Makoto said. I was confused. Huh? Third person pawed back at Naruto's home. Naruto heaved a heavy sigh and stole a glance at the clock. She said she would be back in 5 minutes. Naruto sat there. Then suddenly a thought crawled into his head. What if I made her mad? I acted really good in my opinion. Naruto scratched his head, but my opinion isn't good enough. I acted so badly she's probably left the village by now. Naruto flopped on his bed, or I'm just overthinking it. There was probably a large line or something and she's probably going crazy as she thinks of me. The silence fed his doubt. Maybe it's the first one. Naruto closed his eyes. Naruko's POV. There really wasn't a need for you to invite me into your home. I said. Makoto pulled me along. Nonsense. After all, you bumping into me saved me from my daydreaming. I could have been standing there until nightfall. It was nothing, really. I meant it. This is why you should have left when you had the chance, Itachi whispered into my ear. Once Mother has been saved, she'll repay them despite their protests. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is, I'm home, and I got saved by a really nice girl, so I wanted you guys to meet her. Makoto yelled. A room full of Uchihas turned their eyes towards me. Each one cold and unforgiving, but also with a ray of happiness. My family, Itachi finished. It was silent in the room and no one wanted to say anything, so I decided to make the first move. I'm Uzumaki Naruko. It's nice to meet you all. I introduced myself. Whispers immediately went up. She's from the Uzumaki clan? Aren't they relatives of the Senju? Are you an idiot? That stupid war ended decades ago. But still, silence. A man in a casual kimono said. He stepped forward and we were staring at each other. Finally he spoke. My wife says you saved her. Is that true? He asked. I'm not sure. All I did was stop her from daydreaming, but Itachi elbowed me in the side. I saved her. It was no trouble. He patted me on the shoulders and smiled. Well then, I approved. It seemed as if all the other Uchihas had a change of personality. Their cold eyes that looked at you with suspicion turned into eyes of warmth and comfort. Once everyone had stopped looking at me, I used it as a chance to punch Itachi in the ribs. You reap what you sow. Sir, what is your name? I asked. Uchiha Fugaku, head of the Uchiha clan. He announced. That explains the change of personality. If the head says you're okay, then everyone accepts you. I noted that. Fugaku grabbed Itachi. This is my eldest son, Uchiha Itachi. Oh, we already met. I told him. Fugaku seemed surprised at this. Really, how? Well, I asked him to stop holding my hand. I answered calmly. Itachi basically died of embarrassment, then came back to life. Fugaku looked at Itachi as if he couldn't believe it. Then he elbowed Itachi in the side jokingly and smacked him on the back. What's this, Itachi? You're getting acquainted with women behind your old man's back? Fugaku asked. It's not like that, Itachi insisted. Fugaku chuckled. Naruko, if you ever feel up to it, marry Itachi. Itachi got red all over his face. No way. I barely know her. So what? It takes time to create a relationship. Fugaku shrugged. By the way, how old are you, Naruko? Oh, I turned 16 not long ago. I said. See, Itachi? You turned 16 not long ago either. It was fate. Another Uchiha joked. I like drama and I want to see how things play out. I also love being entertained, and clearly Itachi was dying of embarrassment, providing a great source of entertainment. So I decided to add coal to the fire. Well, I have to go right now, but I'll speak to you later, Itachi. I kissed him on the cheek. Take care. As I left the Uchiha manor, laughter erupted from inside. Third-person POV. Itachi? Sasuke tapped him. Was that your girlfriend? Of course not, Itachi said calmly. But she kissed you, Sasuke pointed out. Mother kisses me all the time, but she's not my girlfriend, is she? Itachi asked. Sasuke nodded. I guess so. Oh, if it isn't Itachi, Makoto smiled. Having a mature talk with your brother? Just then Shisui popped up. Yo, Itachi. Shisui. Itachi got up. Let's go before I catch their insanity. Naruko's POV. Before walking home, I went to buy the groceries. By then, the lines had multiplied. The sun was already setting when I got home. Naruto. I'm back. I opened the door. There was no response. Maybe he's inside? I thought to myself. I slowly opened his bedroom door and saw him lying there, sleeping soundly. I put down the groceries at the front of the door and sat behind him on the edge of his bed. His blonde hair was covering his eyes. I parted them so they could expose his forehead. He looked so cute while sleeping. More ramen please. He murmured in his sleep. I smiled. All you ever think about is ramen, you idiot. That got me thinking. I still don't remember everything. I just knew that one day I woke up in a forest with only the name Naruto and an image of him. Everything before that was a blur. Don't overthink anything, Naruko. It'll just ruin the fun you've had so far. I reminded myself, but still. I don't want Naruto to be ignorant about what he has sealed inside of him. When he wakes up, I'm going to tell him that he is the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki. Make friends, Naruto murmured again. Or not. Naruko's POV. I walked around in circles. I'm going to do it now. I'm definitely going to tell him. I had been putting off telling Naruto that he was the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki for a while, but today was the day I'd actually do it. As soon as he woke up, I'll start with a nice breakfast, then when he's really happy I'll tell him it. It'll be fine. Once he understands, it'll benefit him in the future. He needs to get it under control now. I assured myself. But still, what if it had a negative affect? What if he was too afraid to come out of his shell, fearing that he would hurt somebody? Get a grip, girl. I slapped myself. Nei-chan? I heard Naruto's voice. I turned around to see a still sleepy Naruto rubbing his eyes. Yes? I answered. What are you doing? Naruto yawned. It's nothing. I stopped slapping myself. More importantly, I need you to listen up. What I'm about to tell you is very important. Naruto tried his best to wake himself up completely. Then he sat on the floor, sitting with both legs crossed and perked up attentively. I took a deep breath and started. I'm not going to beat around the bush. The villagers hate you, we've established that. I said to him. Naruto nodded his head and I tried not to laugh. He's nodding like a businessman when talking to his boss. I chuckled to myself. But, I continued, there is a reason why they hate you. It is not personal, but more of what's inside you. Naruto looked down at his stomach when I poked it, right there. Inside of you is the Kyuubi, the strongest tailed beast of them all. Its power is sourced from hate. That's when Naruto raised his hand. Yes? I acknowledged him. I already know the Kyuubi killed my parents. But, do you know who they were, Nei-chan? That old fart, third Hokage, says it isn't important for me to know. Naruto pouted. I shook my head. Sorry Naruto, I wish I did. The only thing I know is you and after yesterday, the Uchihas. I thought to myself. Naruto's eyes glistened with tears. I thought you would know. His sad face made me want to wrap him up in a hug. And I was about to when he spoke again. But it's okay. Now that I have Nei-chan, my life will definitely get better. Naruto smiled, wiping the tears out of his eyes. It amazed me how a 6-year-old could possibly smile when he had such a great burden upon his shoulder. It almost brought me to tears. Almost. I ruffled his hair. That's the way, Naruto. Just for that, you can have ice cream for breakfast. Alright, Naruto jumped in the air. The next chapter will be about me describing Naruko and what I basically want her to seem like. It'll give you a good personality description. Third person POV. Itachi, look, over there. Isn't it the girl that kissed you? Sasuke pointed. Sasuke, it's rude to point. Itachi pushed his hand down but still looked in the direction. He couldn't believe it. There Naruko was, in the flesh. And she was talking to the foxboy? Sasuke, wait here a minute. I want to go talk to her. Itachi told him. Sasuke poked him. Ooh, Itachi wants to talk to his girlfriend. Shut up Sasuke. Itachi poked his forehead. Itachi went over to Naruko. Hey there. Naruko didn't recognize him for a second. Oh, it's you. It's you? You kissed me yesterday and that's all you can say? Itachi questioned. Naruko smirked. Wow, for a cool look on the outside, you have a short fuse in person. Itachi gripped his head in frustration and Naruko laughed. While they were chatting, Naruto wandered over to a cart vendor and bought some takoyaki on a stick. When he turned around he bumped into Sasuke and dropped it. What the hell, Yano? I just bought that. Naruto told him. Sasuke looked at him with the same anger. On Sasuke's shirt was an ice cream smudge. Naruto had made him rub it all over his shirt. You shouldn't be the only one getting angry. Look what you did to my shirt. Sasuke fumed. Who cares about that shirt? You can always wash it. I just bought my takoyaki. Naruto grabbed him by his shirt collar. Sasuke shoved him. To inform you, this shirt is worth more than your life. You can just buy another takoyaki anyways. They went head to head, arguing about it, and they got so loud that Naruko and Itachi stopped their conversation. Naruto, Sasuke, what's the problem? Itachi, Naruko asked. It's this guy. Naruto and Sasuke both pointed at each other. He ruined my shirt. Sasuke whined. He cost me 500 yen. Naruto whined. Itachi sighed and Naruko just laughed. Listen. Naruko brought out a napkin and wiped Sasuke's shirt. I'm pretty sure Naruto did it by accident. And Naruko picked up the wasted takoyaki and threw it out. I can always buy you another takoyaki stick, you know that. Okay. Naruto uncrossed his arms. Hey Itachi, is it okay if we come over to your place? Both of us? Naruko asked. Well maybe, let me just, Shisui. Itachi called. Yo, Shisui appeared. Itachi whispered in his ear and Shisui just shook his head, be prepared for the consequences. Then Shisui disappeared as quickly as he had appeared and Itachi turned to Naruko. Sure, you both can come, Itachi said with a smile. As they were walking ahead, Sasuke stayed back to talk with Itachi. You know, Ni-san, at first I wasn't sure about her. Sasuke nodded his head towards Naruko, but now I think she'd make a pretty good sister-in-law. Itachi poked Sasuke in the forehead, what do you know? Sasuke just smiled, I think when it comes to dating I do better. Itachi rolled his eyes, yeah right. Third-person POV. Please wait here, Itachi bowed to Naruko. So there she was, standing outside of the Uchiha clan manor with an Uchiha and Naruto. I don't even know the tyke's name. Naruko realized. Hey, Naruko tapped him on the shoulder, what's your name? Sasuke smiled, my name's Uchiha Sasuke, the younger brother of Uchiha Itachi. Oh, so you're an Uchiha? Naruto snickered, then you must have some awesome jutsu. Sasuke's face got red, of course I do. I'll show you right now. Sasuke did the hand signs very quickly but I knew what it was, the fireball jutsu. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Sasuke announced. There was a small puff of smoke and that was it. Naruto fell on the floor, laughing. Did you see that, Nei-chan? Naruto was weak with laughter, total fail. Sasuke was slowly losing his embarrassment and turning it into rage. Naruko knew where this was headed. Naruto, stop laughing. You couldn't even get a puff of smoke to come out of a jutsu if you tried. Naruko revealed. Sasuke's transformation tantrum was postponed. He contained a giggle. Honestly, Naruko shook her head. You're the first to criticize when you can't even get your own act together. Another muffled giggle from Sasuke. Naruko smiled on the inside. One more push and he'll be rolling, she thought to herself. And the words are Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Not K's. Is there even such a thing as a wind clone jutsu? Naruko asked. Sasuke couldn't contain it any longer. He laughed and laughed until he was bending over, holding his stomach. Naruto was starting to get mad too, but Naruko winked at him and he understood. It's not always about you. Sometimes, to make people feel better, you have to insult yourself. Anonymous. So, Sasuke, what do you plan to be when you grow up? I asked him. Sasuke looked ready for that question. I'm going to get all the way to Jonin level and work in the police force. Naruto? I turned to him. He looked like he would die if he didn't share what he was going to be. I'm going to become Hokage. So then the whole village will stop ignoring me and start treating me like I'm somebody. He declared. Then I guess you two will be working together. I told them both. Sasuke and Naruto looked at each other and something sparked. Whether it was friendship or rivalry, I can't say. But then they both broke out into two goofy grins and shook hands. Nice to meet you, partner. What's taking Itachi so long? I stomped my foot in impatience, he went into there hours ago. You guys, I said to Sasuke and Naruto, I'm going to go inside, can I trust you two to stay out here? Sasuke saluted me, my mom says I'm responsible all the time. Naruto jumped in front of him, I'm responsible too. Remember Nei-chan? You left me in the house by myself and nothing got broken. Alright, I laughed, you're both responsible, stay here, I'll be back soon. I went inside the Uchiha manor and passed by some Uchihas. They smiled and I greeted them. Itachi? I called for him, no answer. There was a loud shout coming from the end of the hall. I swiftly crawled down the hall, near the door and took a peek inside. Are you kidding me? Fugaku was pacing the floor back and forth. The Jinchuriki is here? It wasn't my fault. I didn't know she was his caretaker. Itachi mumbled, he was sitting in a chair. Fugaku's eyes were dark black with rage, forget the girl. Itachi, you should be smarter than this. How could you invite her? I did not invite her. She just asked to come over out of the blue. Do you think I wanted her here? Itachi asked. So that's how it is. I could feel the tears welling up in my eyes. But I held the urge in. Instead, I could feel anger rising and coursing throughout my entire body. I stopped hiding and stood in the doorway. Sorry to have been such a nuisance, I said hotly. Then I turned and walked away. Third person POV. Naruko. Naruko, wait. Itachi started to walk after her. Fugaku grabbed Itachi's arm, let her go. It's because you made me say that. Itachi shook his arm free. Naruko went outside to where Naruto and Sasuke were bragging about their older siblings. Nei-chan? Naruto perked up, can we go inside? Not today, or ever. Naruko picked up Naruto, we're leaving. Sasuke was confused, but you didn't even get to hang out. Ask your brother, Naruko said coldly. Itachi ran up behind Sasuke, but Naruko was already too far. What did you do? Sasuke asked. Naruko's POV. Wait, let me go, Nei-chan. Naruto struggled. When we were a good distance away from the Uchiha clan manor, I set him down on the ground. What was that about? Naruto seemed furious. Remember how I told you that villagers will hate you for the Kyuubi inside of you? I asked him. Naruto nodded his head. The Uchiha clan is one of them. They were arguing about letting you in. Itachi, I swallowed. Come on Naruto. Now's not the time for the fox to bite your tongue. I shook my head. Itachi said he didn't even want us there in the first place. That's just like the Uchiha clan. I told him. Naruto didn't believe it, but Sasuke was really cool. Naruto, I'm sorry, I apologized, it wasn't right of me to make you prejudiced against them. Maybe you and Sasuke can actually become friends. But Itachi has another thing coming if he thinks I'm speaking to him again. I thought inside my head. I ruined your visit, so I'll buy anything you want to make up for it. I smiled. Naruto grinned widely, his teeth showing, then I'd like ramen and chocolate and ice cream and takoyaki and tilde. Whoa, 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 I put my hands up, what kind of order is this? How can you buy ice cream and ramen? You didn't know? I have a mouth bigger than your fist. I'll manage somehow, Naruto stated. I don't even know whether you're complimenting yourself, or just saying something very stupid. I shook my head, oh well. It wouldn't matter to me anyways. Third person POV, I want to give a heads up to you all now. Since Naruko was sent by God, everything is different. Naruto still has hate, but in the other villages ahem sand ahem Garas, yeah. I'll show you now. Go ahead Gaara, blow out the candles. Temari egged him on. Gaara stepped forward, looked back hesitantly and blew as hard as he could. The 7 candles were blown out completely. Today was January 19th, Gaara's birthday. His mother had been the one to plan everything. Even his father, Rasa, the busy 4th case cage, had made time to come. Rasa kissed the top of Karora's head. Our son's growing up, you know. He said. Karora nodded her head. I want to be beside him forever. As long as he has the burden of Shukaku, I will never abandon him. Rasa clenched his fists. I'm sorry. I couldn't get the council to change their minds about making Gaara the Jinchuriki. But I should have fought harder, then I could have tilde. Karora put her finger to his lips and silenced him. She motioned towards the children and he nodded his head. He has dark rings under his eyes. He can't even sleep without Shukaku terrorizing him. Rasa whispered. I know, but we'll figure something out. I don't intend to let him be sleep deprived forever. Third person POV. Knock, knock, knock. Someone pounded at the front door. Who could that be at this time of night? Naruko pulled on a sweater. She skipped to the front door and opened it. There stood an Anbu member. She immediately had a suspicious feeling. Yes? She was on guard now. Right, the Anbu member pulled out a scroll. This is for you from the Sandame. Naruko hesitated to grab it. There's nothing on it, I assure you. He promised. Naruko took it and unloosened the scroll. Without reading it, she went all the way to the bottom. This was definitely the Sandame's signature. Thank you. She started to close the door. Just doing my duty. The Anbu member left. As the Anbu member jumped from roof to roof, he removed his mask. What an interesting girl. Not trusting something from a Konoha Anbu member. Shisui smiled. Itachi, your first love interest is definitely going to be a hassle. You might not be able to handle her. That's when Shisui felt an ominous presence. He stopped on a rooftop and looked around, using his Mangekyo Sharingan now. But nothing looked out of place. Must have just been my imagination. Shisui shrugged it off and continued hopping from rooftop to rooftop. But there had been someone watching him. Danzo was behind a tree, his eye glimmering in the darkness. So Shisui has gone to that Uzumaki's house with a scroll from the Sandame? This doesn't look good. I have to deal with the both of them, quickly. I set the scroll down on the bedside table and tried to go back to sleep. No luck. After 5 minutes of silence and listening to the clock tick, I sat up on the bed's edge and decided to read the scroll. Dear Naruko. First, I would like to thank you for taking care of Naruto. Not many people are very patient with him when they know what he is. Now I know he can be a handful and I'm not sure why someone would want to take care of him. This means I am fine paying you a cash interest for taking care of him. But of course, there is a catch. Naruto's identity can't be kept as a secret forever. Someone will leak it out that he is the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki to other villages. When that time comes, he will most certainly be targeted. If you accept the cash interest, you will guard him 24/7 until he is capable of defending himself. This means you will accompany him to wherever he goes. He also wants to join the Konoha Ninja Academy. When he's on his own team, you will also accompany him on missions. I look forward to your answer. Sincerely, Sandaime Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. This Gramps. My left eye twitched. I can't tell if it's a bribe or a guilty conscious agenda. I looked at the sleeping Naruto, mumbling about ramen and smiled. Well, no matter what they add in, I already know what I'm going to do. Who could leave this little tyke by himself? Third person POV. Father, please reconsider, Itachi begged. He shook his head. It has already been decided that we will overthrow the Hokage. We have been silently taking the abuse for too long. Itachi knew it was useless to continue arguing and gave up. But Shisui on the other hand, had heard everything. I'm going out for a walk, Shisui announced. Uchiha Kara just nodded her head. As Shisui strolled through Konoha, he couldn't help but admire it. It was a very nice city when the times were peaceful. I won't let the clan continue their schemes, Shisui thought to himself. He had reached the outskirts of the village and was near the gate. He ended up walking outside and strolled through the forest, his mind thinking up a plan as he went along. It seems like I'll have to use Kotoa Matsukami on the clan to keep them from doing anything rash. Shisui sighed. What a wasteful use of a Sharingan. Danzo stepped out of the shadows. Danzo. Shisui seemed startled. You are thinking in the right direction, Danzo continued. However, I cannot allow you to use your Kotoa Matsukami. This problem is much bigger and will not be solved by petty genjutsu. No, as long as there is an Uchiha clan there will always be a problem. What are you trying to say? Shisui eyed him. I cannot trust you with that eye. Danzo lunged at him. It all happened so fast. A scuffle of strength was about to happen when 3 shurikens were thrown in Danzo's direction. He backed up before they could hit. Shisui looked up at where they had come from. No. Way. Naruko-san? Naruko's POV. I'm just on my way back from answering the Sandaime's letter and agreeing to the terms. There was an extra bonus not written in the letter. In return for protecting Naruto, I would already be considered a Konoha shinobi. So, what's going on here? I asked. How did you get that headband? Danzo asked me. Posing as a shinobi is a serious crime. I laughed. I guess you didn't get the memo since you're so busy attacking someone. I am now an official Konoha shinobi. That's impossible. Unless, Hiruzen. Danzo cursed. I wagged my finger. TCH, TCH, TCH. What a rude way of referring to the Sandaime. That by itself could be considered treason. And with visual evidence of you trying to attack a fellow shinobi. Just how will you explain yourself this time? Danzo was getting angry and that's just what I wanted. You've already tried to assassinate Sandaime, I continued, but you were spared because he was kind enough to give you another chance. Now here you are causing trouble again. Do you want to start a fight between the Uchiha? I'm sure everyone would love to hear about this one. Shut your mouth. Everything I have done is for the sake of the Leaf Village. Danzo yelled. For the sake of the Leaf Village? He's not the only one who can get loud. I grinned in my mind. If you really loved the Leaf you wouldn't try to start a fight every 5 years. Are you really that jealous that you never became Hokage? If the Yondaime was alive I'd advise him to lock you up forever. You will be the reason this village suffers. I yelled. I think that really shocked Danzo but he composed himself and disappeared. I jumped down to Shisui's side. I caught him just as his legs gave out. Did he poison you? I asked. No, but my legs are really weak for some reason. Shisui answered. I stared at his face and blinked a couple of times, both eyes, check. I smiled at him. Yeah, that was a close one. Shisui laughed. Shisui bumped his forehead against mine and our faces were really close. Are you checking for a fever? I'm fine. My heart was beating faster, though you seem to have a fever yourself. Are you sure you're Tilda? Naruko, close your eyes for a minute. Shisui leaned in. Then suddenly Shisui's was knocked out of my arms and someone was on top of him. What the hell were you about to do? The person punched Shisui. I recognized that voice. Itachi, stop. Third person POV. Naruko shoved him off of Shisui and touched Shisui's face. Are you okay? Naruko asked him. Yeah, I'm fine. Shisui sat up. What do you mean fine? Your lip is bleeding. Naruko took out a handkerchief. Itachi got up, his eyes heavy with sadness, and left quickly. Shisui noticed this and the truth hit him. Naruko-san, go. Shisui wiped the blood trailing from his lip. Huh? Naruko was confused. Just follow after him. Shisui started her with a shove. Naruko got up, looked back at Shisui and then disappeared. Itachi. You were serious. Shisui couldn't believe it. Naruko's POV. Itachi. Where are you, Itachi? I called for him. Damn it, why did he run off? I asked myself. Unwillingly, my mind drifted to the chat I had with a woman in the village. Young girl, are you aware of what you're doing? She asked me. Getting food? I answered. She shook her head. I guess you really aren't aware. You're a charmer. A charmer? I do no such thing. I'm not really looking for a romantic partner right now. I think. I told her. But your actions say otherwise. You smile at guys and say hello to boys you don't even know. That's called flirting, honey. If you're not careful, you might leave the wrong impression on guys. I shook my head. What am I thinking about at this time? But my mind was still wandering. This time though, it wandered to my talks with Itachi. All I ever kept thinking of was Itachi. What do you want? I remember the lady asking me. I want, Itachi. It took a moment for my brain to process what my mouth had just said. That sounded so wrong. I can't even think about anything else now. Damn it, Itachi. Why did you run off? Itachi. He could hear Naruko calling his name in the distance. Why is she following me? No matter, I can't let her catch up to me. Itachi quickened his pace. Naruko's POV. I sensed a light chakra presence ahead of me. I had to make my feelings clear so that no misunderstandings are left. I increased my speed to full throttle. Itachi was in sight now. I tried to slow down but my feet were already caught in the momentum. I ended up smashing into him and taking him down with me. I rubbed my head and looked into Itachi's eyes. He looked away, but I made him face me. Don't do that. I smiled sadly, don't look away from me. Itachi reluctantly sat up and I crossed my legs. We sat in silence for a bit before I took a deep breath and started speaking. Back there, with Shisui, it was a misunderstanding. If I had realized what he was going to do quicker, I would never have Tilda. It's fine. Itachi shook his head. Huh? I was confused. He got up and brushed the dust off of his pants. It's not really my business to know who you're romantically involved with. I never Tilda. Naruko, he looked at me. You do what makes you happy. He started to walk off and I felt my throat choke up. I grabbed his hand. Don't you get it? I'm not happy with anyone but you. Third person POV. What? Did you just say? Itachi turned around to look at her. Naruko blushed and looked down. She let go of his hand and brushed her hair back. I'm in love with you. Itachi held her arms, one more time. I love you? Naruko said it like a question. Itachi lifted her up and swung her around, then set her on the ground. Hold on Naruko, I need a moment. I'll be right back, I promise. Itachi hugged her quickly. Itachi ran towards a clearing in the forest and took out the Omamori, good luck charm. His mother had handed to him, it actually worked. Thank you. Naruko came up behind him and grabbed his hand. He smiled down on her and then he remembered the coup d'etat. Naruko, I have to tell you something. Itachi got serious. Naruko's POV. I nodded my head, so they plan to take over the Leaf Village? Yeah, and I can't talk them out of it. Itachi's voice was bitter. I nuzzled his nose with my nose. I think we can figure out something. Ahem. I looked up to see Shisui turning red. Itachi, sorry about. You know. He looked sincere. Itachi smiled, it's fine. I'm just glad we're still friends. Shisui put his hand over Itachi's shoulder. It would be dumb if we let some girl come between us. That girl is right here. I stomped my foot. Yeah, Shisui, you can't talk about my girlfriend like that. Itachi playfully pushed him. The sun started to set and Shisui's face grew grim. I stepped up, I'm going to have a word with the Uchihas. Third-person POV. Is everything ready? Fugaku asked. Yes sir, Kara answered. Then we'll begin soon. Tell all the Uchihas to tilde. Naruko was standing on the ledge. No one spoke so Naruko took the initiative. I came to speak with you. Naruko stated. Kara took out a kunai. That's enough. Fugaku dismissed her. Kara gave Naruko a look of absolute loathing and left. What's her problem? Naruko questioned. She was supposed to get married to Itachi. Fugaku sighed. Oh, well, sorry I'm not sorry. Naruko shrugged her shoulders. More importantly, Fugaku continued. Why are you here? Why are you planning to attack Konoha? Naruko asked him. Fugaku's eyes narrowed. Who leaked the plans? Naruko said nothing, that's besides the point. He exhaled through his nose. Well then what are you here for? Are you going to assassinate all of us? Of course not. I'm telling you to reconsider. Naruko jumped down. The plans have already been set in motion. Fugaku answered. Naruko stayed silent and collected her thoughts. I have a deal. I'm listening. There's a certain boy I'm willing to bet all my money that he'll become Hokage. And, if he becomes Hokage, he will be the same age as your son. Itachi? No, Sasuke. Naruko shook her head, and if he and Sasuke grow up on good terms, which they will, then the Uchiha will have the Hokage on their side. When does the good part come? Fugaku asked. That means the Uchiha won't have to deal with ridicule ever again. Naruko smirked. Fugaku considered the deal for what seemed like forever. Fine. Are you serious? On my honor as an Uchiha, I will not betray Konoha. Naruko smiled widely. You won't regret your decision. Sasuke and Naruto are going to be like Madara and Hashirama. Let's hope that doesn't come true. Because if their lives play out the same way, then Sasuke will definitely. Naruko's POV. I quickly ran outside of the Uchiha Manor where Itachi and Shisui were waiting for me. I ran into Itachi's arms. Did everything go the way you wanted it to? Itachi put me down. Yes, your father agreed to my terms. I hugged him again. Shisui coughed. Sorry to be interrupting this beautiful moment, but we still have the matter of a spy. Itachi, your dad's bound to suspect one of us, and when he does, all hell will break loose. Don't worry, I'll provide you shelter from his wrath if you need it. I laughed. Well, Shisui started walking into the manor. It's pretty dark now, you should head home. Yeah, see you. I started off. Wait, Shisui called my name. I turned around. What? Itachi will escort you, Shisui said. Itachi gave him a look like, what? But Shisui just shoved him forward. Don't come back until you're sure Naruko has reached her doorstep. Itachi scratched his head. Damned Shisui. When I get back I'll really give it to him. Sorry for being a bother. I apologized. Oh no, no, no. Itachi said quickly, I didn't mean it like that, it's just. Just what? I walked backwards while looking at his face. I've never been over to a girl's house. Itachi looked away. My face felt hot as I realized it was the first time I was bringing a guy home. But doesn't this lead to, oh god, I'm not ready. I covered my face. Naruko and I walked in silence for a few minutes. I stole a glance at her and our eyes met. We both looked away. Shisui's suggestions while Naruko was inside persuading my father came to mind. If your girlfriend is waking a long way, you should carry her on her back. I shook my head. Stupid Shisui. How am I supposed to ask her that when we have such a weird mood? Wait, seize the moment. Here goes nothing. I took a deep breath. Naruko, I can carry you on my back, if you'd like. That shook her out of her daydream. Thanks. Naruko climbed onto my back and the smell of her perfume made my nose tingle. Can't let the mood get silent again. Conversation. That'll keep it alive, I thought to myself. Naruko, can you tell me some of the things you like and hate? I asked her. Well, I like ramen and my favorite color is turquoise. I love little kids and hate cruel adults. I love it when someone pulls a good prank on me. What about you? Me? I stuttered. Well, I like good people and care about my little brother very much. I would do anything for his sake. I quickened my pace and jumped from rooftop to rooftop. Her own little brother, the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki, must be worried. Itachi, Naruko breathed into my ear. Why yes? I answered her. You know I really like you, right? Naruko reminded me. Yeah, I smiled. Then let's do more things together. We can go out and have fun. Let's go. See sunsets. Naruko kept pausing. She raised her hand and pointed at a house. There, that's where I live. I set her down on the steps and she opened the door to go inside. Just as I was about to leave, she came back out. Did you forget something? I asked her. Yeah, I did. Then she kissed me full on the lips. Naruko's POV. For this part one might have to change the book's rating. I kissed him. 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 My mind was exploding. He looked at me with a certain spark in his eyes and I backed up 1 foot. I stood there, smiling widely, waiting for a reaction. And I got an unexpected one. Itachi grabbed me by my waist and returned my kiss. We looked into each other's eyes, daring the other to go further. Then I remembered Naruto. I put my hand on his chest and pushed him back softly. Not now, I can't. He seemed to understand and I looked down. What's wrong with me? Why am I feeling this way? Did I expect him to go further? I asked myself. I slapped my cheeks, trying to get my mind straight. Come on, Naruto. You're being so disgraceful. How can you be thinking of such things when you have your younger brother in the house right now? I sighed and entered the house, closing the door behind me. Naruto was fast asleep again. Sorry bud, I keep saying that I'll spend time with you but I end up ditching you for Itachi. I combed my fingers through his hair. His cute whiskers shifted each time he inhaled and exhaled. I smiled as I outlined his face with my finger. My cute little Naruto. I have to enjoy this while it lasts. When you grow up, you get all reckless. Itachi's POV. I guess the scene wasn't as bad as I thought. _. Ni-san. Sasuke jumped on me. Wake up. Sasuke opened the curtains and I covered my head with the pillow, blocking the light from entering my eyes. But Sasuke was relentless. He yanked the cover off of me and I was left on the bed, feeling cold. Well, I'm not winning this one. I rolled over and sat up. What was so important that you had to wake me up roughly? I asked. Dad wants to speak with you. But he wouldn't tell me why. Sasuke pouted. Uh-oh. Don't worry about it. I poked him in the forehead. It's probably some boring Uchiha next clan leader thing. Sasuke smirked. Sucks to be you. I wouldn't want to be lecture first thing in the morning. If only this was a next clan leader lecture. He knows I leaked the plans. I sighed. I slipped on my sandals and went to the center room. Their father was sitting in a chair, with his usual cup of tea on the side table. I stepped into the room. Good morning. Good morning, Itachi. He was in a good mood. That was suspicious. I took a seat across from him and he said nothing. It lasted for about 5 minutes before I spoke. Sasuke told me you were calling me? I raised the question. Oh yes, nothing much really. It's just about your marriage partner. He sipped the tea. Did he find out about Naruko? And marriage? We never even discussed if we're dating. These thoughts ran around in my head. It will be Kara. My face went slack. What? It's the best decision for you. She has a very high level of skill among the female Uchihas. Your offspring would definitely be Hokage material. He continued. I never asked for this. My voice coming back. True. Father nodded his head, but at your age love is hardly a thing you can be experienced with. Kara is loyal. She can cook and is very kind. She's already prepared herself for the position of the Uchiha clan leader's wife. This was all happening so fast, I barely had time to voice my opinions. Furthermore, your mother has approved of her as well. That silenced me. Mom agreed? How could I say anything now? She always supports me when I'm troubled. I laid back in the chair and massaged my eyes. I had been caught. Naruko's POV. Nei-san, I'm hungry. Naruto whined. I smiled. You're always hungry. But my stomach is really hungry this time. Fine, I'll allow 1 ramen cup. I pointed at it. He smiled so widely as I boiled the water. He ran around dancing. Ramen, ramen, ramen. Someone knocked on the door and Naruto stopped dancing. It's probably male. I walked towards the door. Hurry back, the water might burn. Naruto called after me. Well, I'll have to clear up that misunderstanding. I thought to myself. I opened the door. Yes? My guard went up immediately. It was the Anbu person from before. He had on the same mask. I see you're suspicious again. His voice was deep. Of course I am. You work for Danzo. I replied. Are you sure about that? He asked. What does he mean? Wait, it's probably conversation to let me feel at ease. I realized. I don't have all the time to chat. What do you tilde? Nei-san? Naruto stepped up. I stopped cold and looked at the Anbu person. He stepped forward. So this is the tilde. My brother. I interrupted him. Naruto stood behind my leg and I think the Anbu person was amused. I couldn't tell with the mask on. He shrugged his shoulders, whatever. I didn't come here for that. This is from the third Hokage. The Anbu person handed me a scroll. The design on this one was different. It even had the kanji for mission. I took it. Thank you. The Anbu person nodded off to me. No, thank you. Then he jumped off. I looked at him as he left. Sorry Ne-chan. Naruto spoke up. I looked at him. What do you mean? You were having a conversation and I interrupted it. Naruto looked sorry. I scooped him up in my arms and closed the door with my leg. No one's more important than my brother. Then I swung him around and tossed him into the air. He laughed with happiness. I set him down after the boiler went off. It seems the water is ready. Third person POV. Later that day in the afternoon, Naruto had gone off for a walk. Naruko was reluctant to let him out, but Naruto convinced her to trust him. Of course, she wasn't that caring of his opinion. She was silently keeping tabs on him with the tracker she had placed on him. Naruko looked at the scroll sitting on the table. She grabbed it and opened it. It read, "Dear Naruko, sorry to trouble you again, but I have a mission that I think can only be entrusted to you. I've heard of Danzo's recent movements and I would sincerely like to apologize. I have to add in though, that everything he does is for the sake of the Leaf Village. Anyways, the Sand Village would like to call a truce with the Leaf. I need a worthy representative and sadly, no one appealed to me. But when I remembered your willingness to take care of Naruto, you came to mind. I hope you don't get angry. I've already wrote down your name. Sincerely, Third Hokage." Old man, Naruko swallowed. What have you gotten me into? A representative for Konoha? I don't know the first thing about diplomacy. I panicked inside my head. What am I going to do? Naruto, I shook him lightly. Wake up. He turned over in his sleep and muttered something about ramen. I shook him even more and he got up. What is it? Naruto yawned. We're going on trip. I pinched his cheeks and patted his head. That jolted him out of his sleepy state. To where? The village hidden in the sand. I started packing our clothes. We're leaving Konoha? He seemed unhappy at the thought. Don't mistake it for moving. It's just a little vacation. I improvised. Naruto hopped off the bed. Should I help pack? I'm really strong, ya know? I shook my head. For now you can just go freshen up. You smell a little funky. Naruto smirked and his canine teeth peeked out. I swatted him with a towel. Shisui's POV. What's with that face? I asked Itachi. He looked up from the ground for a second and then stared away. I'm the worst type of scum. I sat down next to him. What do you mean? I just agreed to marry another girl. Itachi confessed. I held my fist back. This girl had better be Naruko. Itachi shook his head and I lost my patience. I decked him on the head. What are you thinking? I stood up angrily. Is she just some kind of side chick? Itachi stood up as well. It's not like that. My mother wants me to get married to her. And who told you this? I crossed my arms. My dad. Itachi trailed off. There, you see? I pushed him, didn't even go to confirm it, and here you are, promising yourself to another woman who you don't love. Itachi's face got serious. I'm going to ask my mother if she really wanted me to get married. Itachi's paused. I knocked on the door. Come in. My mother's voice rang out. I opened the sliding door and stepped into the room. My mother was reading the famous book, Makeout Tactics. She bookmarked her page and set it aside. What can I do for you, Itachi? Is it true that you want me to marry Kara? Marry her? She looked shocked. I never said such a thing. Of course, ideally it would be best for you to marry an Uchiha and continue the pure bloodline. But, I can see you have a thing for Naruko. Then why did Father Tilda? I was cut off by the sound of the door sliding shut. I ran to it and tugged on the handle. It wouldn't budge. I banged on the door. Open up. Itachi, this is for your own good. A voice yelled out. What are you trying to do? I questioned. Once I'm done, you won't have to worry about that Uzumaki girl. I'm sorry, Itachi's mother, but you will have to bear this as well. The person apologized. Let me out. I kicked the door. I'm sorry, this is for the sake of the clan. Naruko's POV. I wonder, maybe I should drop by and tell Itachi I'll be gone for a few weeks. I thought to myself. I opened the door to bring out the suitcase and there Itachi was, standing in the doorway. Itachi? I asked. I was just about to see you. What are you doing here? I made a motion to hug him but he pushed me back. Itachi? I was concerned. When he looked at me, his eyes were black cold. There's no easy way to say this, Itachi started, but I don't think we're meant for each other. What? He sighed, we're of different classes. I'm an Uchiha, one of the founding clans. I have a duty to uphold. And, to put it nicely, you're just a commoner. There isn't much we can change about that. So I've decided to marry someone of equal stature. Tears were welling up in my eyes but I blinked them back. Then all of this was for nothing? Itachi didn't answer, which made me even angrier. Tell me, that night, when we walked back, it was just for fun? I was a test ride. If that's the way you see it, Itachi replied. I couldn't hold it back anymore. I slapped him across the face. Get out of my sight, my voice shaking with anger. I don't ever want to see you near me again. Itachi didn't even touch his cheek or make any expression of sadness. He jumped down the stairs and left. I closed the door and slumped down in the hallway. Tears streamed down my face, and I quietly sobbed. Itachi. Why? I asked myself, am I really not good enough for you? Itachi's paused. It had been 30 minutes since Mother and I had been locked in a room. I heard the sound of a lock and the sliding door opened. Before I could get the person who opened it, my mother pounced on him. What were you thinking, locking me in a room? I should kill you for that. She went ballistic. Forgive me. He raised his arms. It was an order from Fugaku-sama. Fugaku ordered this? My mother yelled, that's it. He's sleeping on the couch for the next month. Excuse me mother, I interrupted her. I have to go see Naruko. She remembered what the guy had said before, of course. Hurry now. Who knows what they've done to her? Third person POV. Naruko was standing outside, holding a smiling Naruto's hand. He had a small orange backpack while Naruko carried a mini suitcase. As they climbed down the stairs, Itachi jumped down into their path. He grabbed Naruko by the shoulders. Naruko. Are you okay? Naruko looked angry, but just said to Naruto, hurry to the ramen shop and get 6 cups. We'll need them. Sure thing, Nei-san. I'm responsible, ya know? He rushed off. The minute Naruto was out of sight, Naruko slapped Itachi across the face. He staggered back. What was that for? You have a lot of nerve showing up here after what happened. Naruko tightened her fist. Didn't you hear me tell you I never want to see you again? Itachi was so confused. Wait, calm down. I think there was a misunderstanding. This is a joke, right? Naruko's eyes narrowed. Now this is a joke? I guess it was a joke about how you were planning to marry another woman. Well, Naruko walked past him. I'm leaving for a mission. Leave me alone. I don't need to be distracted before I go. To where? Itachi turned around to look at her. Just the sand village. Itachi's paw. I watched Naruko run out of sight. What just happened? I felt my cheek where she slapped me. It still hurt, but there was something else in me that hurt. This pain in my chest. I think my heart's been crushed. Shisui ran over to me and I looked at him. He immediately slowed his pace. What happened? And why is your right cheek red? He asked. I wanted to say Naruko, but my mouth wouldn't cooperate. What had I done wrong? My hands clutched my trousers tightly and I felt my eyes burn. When I looked at Shisui again, he looked shocked. Itachi, your eyes. There. I looked at my reflection in the puddle of water next to the curb. I had awakened my Mangekyo Sharingan. What's wrong? Itachi asked. I looked up. Oh, nothing. Itachi put his arm around me. Oh, come on. I know that look. Something's bothering you. I stopped in the road and held his hand. Okay, fine. Independence Day is coming up and I have no plans. Really? Why don't you spend Independence Day with my family? Itachi offered. Are you serious? I jumped up and down. Itachi's face got red. Sure, I mean my family is okay with you. And my mom always says the more the merrier. I hugged him tightly. This is great. Naruto's been dying to have another play session with Sasuke. What better time than Independence Day? Itachi kissed me. What time will you come over? 9 p.m. I hope you don't mind if I bring some friends. I said. Like I said, the more the merrier. Itachi squeezed my hand. Itachi's paw. Again I said yes without thinking. I bit my tongue. I walked Naruko home where Naruto was waiting at the door. Hey Naruto. I waved. Hi Itachi-san. Spending time with my sister? I don't like sharing, ya know? He laughed. Naruko blushed. Naruto. Sometimes you just tilde. Look, Itachi invited us to his family's Independence Day celebration. That means you and Sasuke get to have that rematch you've been whining about. I was not whining, but this will be fun. Will we light fireworks? Naruto asked excitedly. I smiled. That is the one good thing about Independence Day. Fireworks always brighten up your mood. No matter what may have happened, Seeing those bright lights always puts a smile on my face. Definitely. I gave him a high five. Yeah, I want to light the big, ya know? Naruto jumped up and made fake explosions with his AHNDS. Naruko ruffled his hair. Settle down, Foxy. We'll see you later, Itachi. I nodded, see you. The minute their door closed, someone jumped down from the roof. I let out a sigh. What have you gotten yourself into? I covered my face, not in the mood, Shisui. He smirked, I guess it's true. People will do dumb things for love. Shisui. I yelled. He put his hands in the air, fine. I'll stop teasing you. But what are you going to do? I'm sure your dad and mom accept her. But with Kara, there are going to be a lot of complications. That's when a switch flipped in my brain. Shisui, be my wingman. Don't tell me you're dumping Naruko. His face got grim. What? Of course not. I mean that you'll be my best buddy and keep Kara as far away from me as possible. I explained. Itachi, as much as I'd love to help you and your one true love, I can't. I've gotten involved with someone myself. He looked at his feet. You're kidding. Joker Shisui got himself a girlfriend? I couldn't believe it. We're not dating officially. But I do have feelings for her. Shisui nodded his head. We'll have 3 children, twin boys and a girl. Our house will have 6 rooms and you are their godfather. This isn't some dumb crush. This is love at first sight. I exclaimed, so who's the lucky lady? I haven't really met her. But I heard one of her colleagues refer to her as, Anko? I choked on air. Anko? Isn't she Orochimaru's star student? The one with the tilde. Curse mark? I know. So what? Shisui got defensive. Nothing, man. Geez, what's your deal? I rolled my eyes. So what if she has a curse mark? It's not like she plans to join Orochimaru. And we shouldn't be so judgmental. We're Uchihas. Our clan is cursed with hatred. So we can't go around gossiping tilde. I said I'm fine with her. You're being a douche. Anyways, I'm happy you finally found someone. Good luck getting her. I tapped my headband. You're not going to help me? Shisui was shocked. I laughed so hard. Me? Help you? Yeah, right. Aren't you Uchiha Shisui, the love doctor? What could an amateur like you possibly hope to learn from me? But tilde. No, 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 no. I couldn't intervene. Out of pure decency. See you. I left. Shisui's POV. I can't believe this. I helped Itachi when he was going crazy for Naruko. Now he can't even help me? I fumed. Then I remembered my own advice. Sometimes, when a person doesn't want to help, it's not because they don't want to. They just are incapable of being useful. Curse me and my advice. I bit my tongue. Forget about that. I have to introduce myself to Anko? But how? In the end, Shisui couldn't come up with anything and was very sour during the Independence Day party. The end. Psych. SYC. Psych. There's no way I could have just ended it like that. It actually continues and gets much weirder. Remember, this is a filler. Crazy stuff happens in fillers. Naruko's POV. I knocked on the door and waited. A jubilant Naruto was tapping his foot excitedly. He was wearing a plaid green and red shirt with blue shorts. In his hands were 2 bouquets of flowers. Multiple locks could be heard turning until finally the door opened. What? Anko looked annoyed. Don't, what, me? We're going for an Independence Day party. Come on. I took her hand. Anko held her hand. I'm not going to some dumb party. Give me 2 good reasons. I demanded. 1. They're stupid. 2. They're stupid. She leaned against the door. I said 2 good reasons. Anko gave an exasperated moan. Even if I did want to go, not saying I do, I'm not really party ready. I stepped into her house without permission. Of course, Naruto followed behind me without question. You realize this is breaking and entering, right? Anko warned me. I didn't break anything. And for the entering part, well, explain to them how you opened the front door. I replied, I don't have time for this. Take your toddler out of here and get to that party. Anko rubbed her eyes. I opened her wardrobe, revealing multiple dresses. Nothing to wear, you why? Her face turned tomato red. Those are hand-me-downs. From who? I questioned. My sister. I wasn't buying it. Did I say sister? I meant my friend. My friend's sister. Sister's cousin. She kept changing her story. Admit it. Admit what? Now she's playing dumb. This girl is good, but not good enough. I laughed to myself. You like wearing dresses. Are you trying to insult me? Anko's voice cracked. I kept talking. You put on this tomboy act and are always saying that whatever a guy can do, you can do it better. But deep down, you still keep in touch with your feminine side. That's a lie. I never. Anko was at a loss for words. What do you do with them? The dresses, I mean. Put them on and look at yourself in the mirror? Or maybe this is some type of weird roleplay you do to Naruko. Anko had revived some of her courage. Yes? Leave. Put on a dress first. Not happening. I sat down on her bed. If you don't put on a dress, I will personally go around knocking on every citizen's door just to announce that your wardrobe is full of dresses and that you are the most feminine female I know. You wouldn't. I leaned real close to her and whispered, try me. To make a long story short, eventually Anko put on a dress Naruko picked out for her. It was a white sleeveless dress with a black belt going around her waist. Not too shabby, but not so glossy that it attracted attention. Of course Naruko did her makeup. I don't want to get into that because then most of the chapter would be spent talking about lipstick and eyeliner. Just imagine a very, 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 very pretty Anko. Naruto's paw, OMRs, oh my Rikudo Senin, can you believe it? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I definitely will not be doing another one of these. Naruto's part will take up a lot. Nate-chan sure has been talking to this lady for a while. We might miss the party. I shook my head, don't think like that. Focus on the flowers. If something happens to them in my care, Nate-chan will be very disappointed in me. My mind wandered to about 10 minutes ago. Naruto, here, hold these. Nate-chan handed me 2 bouquets of flowers. What do I need these for? I crumpled them tightly in my fists. No, 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 no. She loosened my fists, these are for the Uchihas. You need to present yourself in a good manner. So they're gifts. She could have just said it like that. I thought to myself. Nate-chan held her in a ponytail. She looked beautiful. Her dress was a one-strap. It was black designed with multiple red stripes. A white belt around her waist topped everything off. She smiled at herself in the mirror. Then she looked at me. Oh, looking handsome Naruto. Dressing up for a date? What's she talking about? What date? I asked myself. I don't know about a date. But I do know that we're leaving for a party. Let's go. I nudged her. Okay, you're so excited for this party. Remember to keep the flowers in perfect condition. And that's why I have these flowers. Oh, Nate-chan's finished with her friend now. I guess we're leaving. I stood up. Nate-chan was holding her friend's hand. I opened the door while balancing one bouquet on my head. Then I used my foot to keep the door open. I held it open for Nate-chan and her friend. What a gentleman, the lady commented. Right, Anko? Any girl he dates will be lucky to have him. Nate-chan praised me. Her name's Anko? I guess I'll call her Anko-san. I noted to myself. Nate-chan, Anko-san and I were walking down the street. We stopped off at a few more houses and Nate-chan convinced more of her friends to join us. By the time we had reached the Uchiha Manor, I could swear we were the Independence Day parade. Nate-chan told everyone, except me, to wait. We ran ahead and knocked on the door. Itachi-san opened the door and kissed her on the cheek. He ruffled my hair. You guys made it. I hope we're not late. Nate-chan wondered. Itachi-san shook his head. Of course not. The party doesn't start till you walk in. What about your friends? Nate-chan fidgeted a little. Remember how I said I'd be bringing a few? Well, a few kind of turned into an entire crowd. Shisui-san popped up behind Itachi-san. This'll be fine. Let's make the most of the night like we're going to die young. Tell everyone to come in. Come in, you guys. Nate-chan announced. The convoy surged forward and I barely had time to scramble out of the wreckage before young people of all sorts crammed into the manor hallway. Psst, Naruto. I knew that voice. Peeking around the corner was Sasuke. He was wearing a tuxedo? I covered my mouth to keep from laughing. He got angry. Laugh at me later. Get over here. I scurried around the hallway and sat next to him. Utilda. Before you say anything, Sasuke put his hand up. This was not my selected outfit. Can I speak now? I asked. Go ahead. Sasuke nodded. When's the wedding? I had to. He punched me in the shoulder and I let loose all my laughter. Then I remembered the flowers. Thankfully, they were safe on the ground next to me. Sasuke noticed them. Whose are those for? Your parents, I think. I stood up and dusted myself off. Where are they? In their room. Come on. They won't mind a visitor. Sasuke led the way. I carefully held the bouquets in each hand. This place is a maze. How can he walk around without getting lost? I questioned. At last, after what felt like hours, probably 3 minutes, of walking, he came to a stop in front of a wooden door. He gulped. What does he have to be nervous about? He lives here. I'm making my first impression, I told myself. Sasuke opened the door and we stepped into the room. Sasuke? What have I told you about entering without knocking? You Tilda. Then his father noticed me. His mother was already standing up, searching a bookshelf. I decided to greet her first. Excuse me, I tugged on her dress. She turned around and look on her face didn't bother to hide that she was surprised to see me. But I held out a bouquet for her to take. This is yours. F for me? I nodded my head. Sasuke's mother glanced up for a second and then took the bouquet. Then I took a deep breath and approached Sasuke's father. His glare seemed intimidating, but Nei-chan taught me how to read eyes correctly. He has this cold look, but he's actually a very nice person. I bowed respectfully. My sister always tells me to greet the master of the house first. But she also says I should be a gentleman and never let a lady go last. So I decided to give her the flowers first because I thought you'd understand. After all, we are two. Two what? Sasuke's father asked. I smiled. Two gentlemen. Shisui's POV. There was plenty of food to go around. Some girls winked at me and one of them even asked to dance. Which I would have accepted if it weren't for the fact that my heart belonged to another. Okay, that sounds so old. I've fallen in love and I can't get up. Naruko waded her way over to me. But when we finally got close, I found she was not alone. Anko was next to her, being pulled by her hand. I gave Naruko a look and we had an eye conversation. Me. Why is she here? Naruko. Itachi told me the situation. Me. So bringing her here is going to help it because... Naruko. You're never going to get anywhere in life if you play it safe. Look, just ask her about her likes and dislikes. Start a conversation for RS's sake. Rikudo Senin. I was going to continue the eye chat when Anko spoke up. I guess we gave her the wrong impression, just gazing into each other's eyes. I can go if you guys want me to Tilda. No, it's fine. You're not interrupting me or anything. Shisui and I are just friends. Itachi's my one and only. Naruko said. And you call me feminine. Anko muttered. I perked an eyebrow up and Anko noticed. Her lips read. I'll tell you later. I nudged Naruko. Speaking of Itachi. Could you tell him to bring out more soda? Sure thing. Naruko smiled. Anko, don't get lost. I'm not even sure if she caught my drift. I made a move for Anko's hand and when I held it, she didn't resist. What did you mean that you're more feminine? I questioned. Anko silenced me. This place is booming with people. Let's go somewhere private to speak. I nodded my head. I know this manor like the back of my hand. She held onto my hand tightly and I led her to the rooftops. We hopped until we were at the highest perch. Then I sat down and so did Anko. Ready to spill the beans? As ready as I'll ever be. Anko giggled. I smiled. That's a plus. I got her to giggle. Well, Anko started. At first, I hadn't even planned on coming to this party. Naruko was the one who dragged me out. But when I got here and met a few people, it became fun. No one seemed to remember I was one of Orochimaru's test subjects. At this party, I was just a girl looking for some fun. And why shouldn't you look for fun? Fun is healthy. I have a daily dose of fun every 16 minutes. I told her. 16 minutes? Why not 15? Anko stretched out. 16 sounds cooler. 15 isn't really a good number. In fact, being a teenager was terrible. All those emotions getting mixed up. The drama, waterworks, rumors. And don't even get me started on puberty. I scoffed. Anko laughed and I fell in love with the sound of her voice. You seem to be a lot like me. I commented. Anko rubbed her eyes. Me? Similar to you? Huh, I wish. I'm standoffish. I don't like talking to people and I can never relate to anyone. I might as well be an orange in an apple basket. Yeah, but oranges, I leaned closer to her, are delicious. Anko lightly pushed me back. Sorry. I didn't come here for that. I backed off. Neither did I. You can't blame me for trying. No, I can't. But that doesn't mean I can just discard it completely. Anko argued. Then an explosion went off in the sky. Silly me. Did I type explosion? I meant firework. Warning. This escalates quickly. Naruko's POV. The midnight sky lit up in bursts of green, blue, red, yellow and orange. I kissed Itachi's forehead. The fireworks have started. Should we find our brothers? Itachi shook his head groggily and kissed my lips. They just spoil the moment. Besides, they're probably at the highest point trying to touch them or something. I pulled back for air. Could they actually do that? Itachi laughed. Not unless they had a mega growth spurt. His kisses became deeper. I wanted to protest, but my hands became numb with each peck. I had taken a few cups of wine. The alcohol was getting to me. And yet, I didn't know if I wanted him to stop. His hands went into my dress. I dug my fingers into his back and tilde. Ahem. Itachi pulled away quickly and we both sat up straight. It was Kurenai. She rolled her eyes. If you're going to make a baby, please do it somewhere you can't be walked in on. My face grew red hot. Itachi sobered up and helped me stand. The fireworks were getting louder and brighter. Naruto and Sasuke ran out with happy looks on their faces. Both of them were holding mini fireworks. Where did you two get those from? I squatted. Sasuke's dad gave them to us. Naruto reported. I looked at Itachi and he just shrugged his shoulders. Why don't you two light them? I offered. Naruto shook his head. I don't want to risk it. Can you do it? Don't worry about that. We'll light it together. I smiled. After asking the crowd for a match, I finally got one from Guy. What are you doing with matches? I questioned. He smiled and gave me a thumbs up. The brightness of youth cannot last forever. But it can be lit again. I shook my head. What did you do? Yeah, we danced on tabletops and we took too many shots. Guy listed them. That must have been fun. I waved. Naruto's little fingers shakily held the lit match. I clamped my hand over his and we put the flame to the string. It burned the fuse until the firework shot into the sky and exploded. Multiple pictures were created by it. But the last one, which lasted the longest, was off the Yondaime and his wife, Kushina. Then I helped Sasuke light his and multiple pictures were shown before ending with an image of Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama. Shisui and Anko jogged up beside me. I noticed they were holding hands. Wow, Anko. You sure are friendly. I teased. She looked away but Shisui laughed. Yeah, we found love right where we are. Shisui replied. Once there was a weird kunoichi. She was so weird that everyone died. The end, Shinobi Patrick Star. Seeing Itachi before we leave really messed me up. I slapped my cheeks. Naruko, you're going on a trip with your baby brother. Block out all social problems and focus on him. Naruto was telling the man that he needed 6 ramen cups. I jogged up beside him. I'm paying. That persuaded the shop owner. He picked out 6 different flavors and put them into a black paper bag. And can I also get, I lowered my voice, 7 chocolate bars? Put them in swiftly, please. The shop owner looked at Naruto and understood. Here you go. 6 ramen cups. The man winked. I gave him 700 yen and thanked him. Then, with the suitcase, backpack slung over my shoulder, an ice cream in Naruto's hand and a hat on his head, we left the village. Third-person POV. So that's what happened, Shisui exclaimed. Yeah, Itachi hung his head. Shisui puffed out his chest. Get up. Why? Itachi didn't bother to move. Well, you didn't even explain the situation to her. I'm sure if she heard your story she'd understand. Shisui said. Itachi shook his head. I can't do that. She's going to the sand village? Is she moving? Shisui asked, concerned. No, I don't think so. Would she? Itachi looked at him. Shisui shrugged his shoulders. This village isn't as big as you think. 9/10 times you'll bump into the same person. Maybe she doesn't want to see your face anymore. Shisui. Wait, I'm supposed to be making this better for you. Shisui scratched his chin. All I can think of is that you keep tabs on her house and when she comes back you surprise her with gifts. Then tell her the full story. Itachi felt slightly better. Advice from the love master. Shisui put his hands up. What can I say? It's a gift. Naruto's paw. We've been walking for hours. I stomped behind Nei-chan. She stopped and looked at me. Something wrong? I plopped down. I'm tired. She smiled and walked back over to me. Then she ruffled my hair. Well, we've got to get there at a certain time or they won't let us in. Can you stand? Reluctantly I stood up. Yeah, okay. But she stopped me. You don't have to walk anymore. I'll carry you. I didn't even argue with her and climbed onto her back. She pushed me up and I was on her back. She started walking again and I couldn't help but feel sleepy. She was walking in such a way that sort of rocked me back and forth. I ended up falling ASL. Naruto's POV. I heard Naruto's soft snore and adjusted his chin so that it would stop. Then I laughed to myself. He really was tired. And we're almost there too. Ah well. I guess I can wake him up when we get to the hotel. My mind went back to Itachi and I couldn't help but picture the hurt look on his face when I slapped him. I closed my eyes deeply. He toyed with your feelings, made you feel like you're worth something, then nothing. You're done with him, Naruko. I opened my eyes just to see two huge gates. I started picking up my pace, but carefully so I wouldn't disturb Naruto. We were here. I ran towards the entrance and the gatekeeper stopped me. What's your business here? Gatekeeper 1 asked me. I took out the scroll the Sandaime had given me. I'm the representative from Konoha. I'm here to speak to the case cage. Gatekeeper 2 took the scroll and instantly went to the Sandaime's seal of approval. He handed the scroll back and nodded his head to Gatekeeper 1 who stepped back. They did some hand movements too quick to catch and the gate slowly cracked open. I tapped my leaf headband to quietly thank them and walked into the sand village. It definitely wasn't like I'd imagined. I guess I was so used to the leaf village, it kind of hindered my imagination. The sand village was definitely sandy, but it had a kind of quiet feeling. Like the town was holding its breath. But that might just be in my head. Before the gate closed, I asked the gatekeepers, where would I find the case cage? Gatekeeper 1 pointed forward. If you just keep walking you'll reach the center of the village. That's where Tilda. The gate closed, cutting off his voice. I turned back around. Okay, so he said if I keep walking I'll reach the center of the village. Might as well just follow his instructions. I started walking. Third person POV. Case cage Sama. An attendant came into the room. What is it? Rasa looked at her. Konoha's representative has just come through the gate. Is the person downstairs? Rasa started to get up. The attendant shook her head. No, we think she might not know the way. So the Sandaime sent a female? She must be strong. What are you waiting for? Find her, Rasa ordered. Yes sir. The attendant bowed and left the room. As soon as the door clicked close, Kurora came into the room. Rasa's mood instantly brightened. He welcomed her with a hug. What was the shouting about? Kurora asked. Rasa waved his hand. Nothing really. Konoha sent a representative to come talk to me. They want to form an alliance. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Kurora questioned. Rasa shrugged his shoulders. It's mutual. I don't see how this could hurt us in any way except. Except? Kurora tilted his chin up so that they made eye contact. Except any enemies of Konoha will become our enemy. Rasa sighed. It's a trust thing then. If you do this, Konoha and the sand will become close, like brethren. If we get attacked they'll certainly come to help. Kurora said. But Tilda. But nothing Rasa. Kurora nuzzled him with her nose. Either you're with them or against them. Isn't that how the shinobi world works? Rasa smiled. You know too much for your own good. Maybe that's because I'm always around you. Kurora teased. She's here. The attendant peeked through the door. Rasa and Kurora separated and tried to look professional. Let her in. The attendant opened the door and stepped aside. A blonde-haired girl about 5 feet 8 inches stepped into the room. On her back was a toddler with blonde hair, fast asleep. The attendant bowed and left the room. Rasa made deep eye contact with the girl who didn't even seem fazed. Nice to meet you, I'm Uzumaki Naruko. Naruko's POV. So this is the Sand's case cage? And this lady must be his wife. I could have sworn they were cuddling 5 seconds ago? I thought to myself. Nice to meet you, Naruko-san. My name is Suna Kurora. The lady introduced herself. I know Gaara and his family don't have a last name, or at least it was never mentioned. So I made it as Suna, which means sand in Japanese. Okay, back to the story. May I ask, the case cage intrude, why that toddler is with you? I was confused. Oh, you mean Naruto? He's my younger brother. I couldn't just leave him by himself. Kurora stepped forward. He's very precious to you, I'm sure. But would it be alright if I took him to another room? I looked down at sleeping Naruto. I don't know. He might get anxious if he wakes up to see I'm gone. I'll make sure he knows where you are. I don't want him to interfere with your work. Kurora answered honestly. After mulling it over, I slowly slid Naruto off my back and eased him into Kurora's hands. She must carry other toddlers because Naruto was no sweat. She left the office with him in her arms and closed the door. Now look, I love Naruto. I really do. But now that I knew he was going to be somewhere safe, hopefully, I could get my head in the game. I didn't just come here for fun and games. The Sandaime had sent me here to successfully create an alliance between the Sand Village and Konoha. The case cage took a seat behind his desk and motioned for me to sit as well. I kindly obliged and folded my hands, trying to think of what to say. After a minute of silence, I began. For people that want action and cuddles and hugs, you might want to skip this part. This is just Naruko being a diplomat and proving her point. For my hardcore readers out there, this is for you. If you like a mix of both cuteness and discussion, read on. You probably know what I'm here for, but I'll just be clear. No secrets. I said, I'm listening. The case cage nodded his head. They sent me here telling me that I must convince the Sand Village to be on our side. But frankly, I'm not going to do that. Come again? The case cage was shocked. It's not really up to me to force you to side with us, I continued. I could go on and on about how joining Konoha would benefit the Sand Village, but in hindsight, is that really a risk you want to take? Do you read minds or something? The case cage asked. I shook my head. I'm just putting myself in your shoes. If I were case cage, would I want an alliance? Yes, because if we ever go to war, the alliance will help out. But on the other hand, no, because the enemies of Konoha will also seek out my village. It's a double standard. Well then, the case cage sat up. If you're not here to convince me, then what are you here for? I smiled. I'm here to tell you to give the next generation a chance. Huh? I closed my eyes. As time passes, people become stronger and stronger. I believe someone from both of our villages will take up the title of Cage and get along. And when that time comes, I chuckled, the Sand and Konoha will be closer than friends. They'll be brothers. The case cage cracked his knuckles. You gave a convincing argument. But why wait for the next generation? Why not create an alliance now? I chuckled. There's no problem with that. But remember, I said I wasn't going to convince you of anything. Whatever you choose is of your own free will. Naruto's paw. I rolled over and rubbed my eyes. I was in a dark room, the only light coming from behind a shaded window. I yawned and stretched out my arms and legs. Then I remembered Nei-chan had been carrying me. As I sat up on the bed, a person entered the room. So you're awake? He asked. I nodded my head, not sure if I could trust this person. He smiled. I'm Yashimaru. Who might you be? He seems nice enough. I guess telling him my name couldn't hurt. I told myself. I'm Uzumaki Naruto. I introduced myself. Well, Naruto, he sat on the bed. It's nice to meet you. Do you know where my sister is? I asked impatiently. He thought for a moment. Your sister? Oh, she's talking with the case cage. But not to worry. They'll be done shortly. I looked down. That means I'm alone again. Oh, not at all. Yashimaru patted my head. In fact, we were just about to play Sudoku. Sudoku? I questioned. I don't even know how to play. That's okay. Tamari will explain the rules. I looked at him. Did he just read my mind? No, but I can read facial expressions. And yours are very clear. I hopped off the bed and Yashimaru stood up. He smiled down at me and I smiled back. He opened the door and led me to a bigger room. There were 3 other kids sitting on the couch. A girl and 2 boys. I stepped forward. Hi. The red-haired kid looked back at me and held his teddy bear. Hello. Yashimaru. The girl stood up on the couch. Why were you taking so long? I've already figured out the puzzle. Oh really? Yashimaru perked up his eyebrow. Let me see it. Quiet, Tamari. The boy with brown hair yelled. You made me lose concentration. Stupid Kankuro. Tamari stuck her tongue out. Those puppets are never going to move. Hey Tamari. Be nice. Yashimaru scolded her. Tamari crossed her arms. I'm just saying the truth. Those dumb puppets will never move. And those 4 pom-poms you call hair will never grow. Kankuro shot back. Tamari touched her head. She was very self-conscious about the length of her hair. My hair is the average length for girls my age. Kankuro sneered. We should sign you up for the border guard. You'd fit right in. While Kankuro and Tamari argued, I slid over next to the red-haired boy. Do they always argue like this? I asked him. He seemed a little surprised, though I don't know why, not when mother and father are here. But every chance they get they bicker. I snickered. That's like Itachi-san and Sasuke. Itachi-san? Sasuke? He w confused. I shook my head. Sorry. You don't know them. They're my friends. He held his teddy bear tighter. You have friends? Well, not a lot. Just Nei-chan, Itachi-san, Shisui-san and Sasuke. I counted on my fingers, only 4. That's more than I have. Well, how many friends do you have? I asked him. 0. He said. Something made me feel sad when I looked into his eyes. It was like I could feel his pain. What about me? Huh? He looked up. Can we be friends? I smiled widely. What, you want to be friends with me? He couldn't believe it. Yeah, I answered. Oh okay. He smiled happily. By the way, I grinned, what's your name? Suna Gara. He told me. Well Gara-san. I put a hand on his shoulder. Let's be great friends, ya know? Third person POV. So what's it going to be, Mr. Case-Cage? Rasa. What? My name is Rasa, he told Naruko. Suna Rasa. Okay Rasa-san. I'm Naruko. I reworded it. Will you make an alliance or wait for the next generation? Rasa looked at her. I will accept the alliance proposal. But on one condition. Go ahead. Naruko waved him on. You must be part of the alliance committee. Whether you're commanding general or second in command. I won't have it any other way. Naruko's POV. That's one tough condition. I whistled to myself. Deal. I replied. Rasa gave me a look. There's no problem? When you back, you'll tell the Sandame my conditions? I covered my heart. The Sandame will have no problem with it. Naruko, you had better shut the hell up. I told myself. But of course, I never listened to my own advice. Rasa shook my hand, glad to become comrades. I shook it firmly, same here. Rasa stood up and I stood up as well. I guess I'd better get going, Tilda. So soon? Rasa asked me. I looked back at him. Yeah. I mean, the whole point was to discuss with you. There's not really much I should stick around for. Why don't you sightsee? Or just stay and relax? You can leave in the afternoon tomorrow. Rasa suggested. I wanted to say no thanks, but I remembered Naruto's eager face when I told him we were going to the Sand Village. I sighed. I did promise him a vacation. Why not? I guess staying here could help me. Itachi's face popped into my mind, and I don't want to see that again. Rasa looked pleased. Excellent. You don't even need to go looking for a hotel. You can stay in my home. Really? I asked him. He nodded his head. It was always built too big. At least 4 extra rooms, never being used. I was so shocked I had a hard time talking. Wow. Thank you. Rasa smiled and that made him look nicer. Then his face got serious. Actually, there's a problem that I can't figure out. I was still smiling. What is it? I'm happy to help. He looked very troubled. It has to do with my son. You see, before he was born, Gaara's paw, OMRs. So many people wondering when Gaara would arrive on scene. I tried to hold it back, but it was too much. This chapter will definitely be long and annoying. Cheeky smiley face. Mother, father and a lady entered the room just as we started our final round of Monopoly. Naruto got up and ran to the lady, tackling her with a bear hug. Nate-chan. He hugged her. She laughed, genuinely. Hey Naruto. Did you miss me? Of course. Naruto's sister looked over in my direction and I ducked down. Really? Because it looks like you were having loads of fun while I wasn't around. She replied. Naruto tried to make up an excuse but failed. Whatever, she playfully shoved him. Go back to your fun. Gaara-san? How does she know my name? I held my teddy bear tightly. Her footsteps got closer and closer, so I closed my eyes. When I didn't hear her, I peeked one eye open. She wasn't in front of me. I turned to the left and jumped back. She was sitting right next to me. She laughed hysterically. Boy, you sure flew back. Hi there. Nice to meet you. I'm Naruko, Naruto's older sister. I looked at Naruto and he gave me a thumbs up. I sat up straight and answered quietly, nice to meet you. Naruko looked at mother and father and mouthed something to them. I only caught the word, bad. Gaara-san. Naruko got up. Can you come with me and your parents? Just for a second. I squeezed my teddy bear's head. This isn't looking good. Please, Gaara, mother said to me. Reluctantly, I stood up and followed them. Mother held my hand all the way and kept telling me encouraging phrases. But that only made me feel worse. We walked into a room where Naruko sat down and so did I. Then mother and father left the room. I heard the door lock and immediately I got up. Calm down, Naruko said nicely. Nothing bad is going to happen? Then why can't my mother be with me? I asked. It won't work if any other people are in the room. What won't work? I demanded to know. Shukaku, get out here. I stood still. Shukaku is the monster that keeps me awake at night. I felt a tug at my head and sand started to form from beneath me. They slid next to me and started sticking together before forming a medium-sized tanuki. Ha, ha, ha. Did someone call me? Shukaku asked. Yeah, I did. Naruko got up. I couldn't move, I was petrified. But Naruko kept a level head and went over to Shukaku. She put a hand over my red kanji and put a hand on Shukaku's head. She closed her eyes. Shukaku, what's your problem? I don't know what you're talking about. The sand spirit never has a problem. Shukaku, tell me the truth. Shukaku was silent for a few seconds. Okay, I do have a problem. Every time I'm set free, I'm chained back to another miserable human body that I have to protect. And you want to be in control of yourself for once, right? Naruko finished for him. You got it. Well, have you ever thought about the Jinchuriki? Naruko crossed her legs and sat down. I don't need to. They're just walking prisons that I'm chained to. Shukaku stated. Let me inform you then. Because you are sealed inside a person, that person cannot interact normally with others. They will be cast out among other people. And? Naruko sighed. Shukaku, what is the meaning of strength in your words? Someone that can hold their own and doesn't need anyone to protect them. Naruko shook her head. I guess that's your personal opinion. But I have a feeling that very soon, you will find the meaning of true strength. That's what the old man said before he died. Shukaku replied. And I bet he wouldn't want you keeping children awake. Naruko took her hands off of us. Shukaku, you're dismissed. Naruko snapped her fingers. The sand exploded and disappeared. My red kanji felt warm for some reason. And I no longer felt tired or scared. I looked at the teddy bear on the ground and reached for it lightly. I didn't feel like squeezing it. What did you do? I asked Naruko. She smiled. I just made it so that you won't get any more nightmares. I ran up to her and hugged her tightly. Third person Pav. Meanwhile, in Konoha. Sasuke. Itachi stormed into his room. What? Sasuke sat up. Where's the headband? Itachi asked. What headband? Sasuke looked confused. Don't play dumb. I left it on the desk and when I came back it was gone. I didn't take it. Yes you did. Naruko's POV. I wonder if any of the stuff I actually said will work. I guess we'll have to see in the morning. I held Garrett tightly and he wiped his eyes. Can we go back to Monopoly now? I laughed, of course. You'll have to teach me the rules though. Sure thing. Remind me, why are we doing this? I whispered to Shisui. Because your dad still thinks Kara is your soulmate. And it doesn't seem like Naruko is coming back anytime soon. Shisui replied. Hey Kara, I turned around. Mind if I speak with Shisui for a quick minute? Sure. She froze up. Thanks. I pulled Shisui aside. What is it? You're making this weirder. And it's weird enough as it is. Shisui said. What is wrong with you? I hissed. I don't want another girl. I love Naruko. Shisui put his hands up. Don't get angry at me. Go tell that to your dad. He's the one who set you up for this. I cursed. Damn it dad. When we meet, I'm gonna tilde. Itachi-sama? Carrot tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around and smiled. Yes? I was just told that I could be assigned to a mission soon so I had to leave. Kara said. Shisui elbowed me in the side and gave me a look. We had an intense eye discussion. Me. Why the hell are you elbowing me? Shisui. Whether or not you like her, your dad sent us out here in hopes of you two making progress. Me. You just said I don't like her. How are we going to make progress? Shisui. Listen, idiot. She'll go report back to your dad about how you were wasting time and didn't do anything fun. Me. I hadn't thought about that. But how I have fun with a girl I don't love. Shisui. Ever heard of friendship? See, it's this amazing thing where two people can have fun without being in a relationship. You should try it sometime. Me. Alright, I get it. I nudged Shisui's elbow away, cleared my throat and said, well, you can stick around for a few minutes can't you? I mean, we haven't really done anything yet. Shisui gave me a thumbs up. Kara looked surprised and pleased. Oh of course. Well, Shisui stretched his arms in the air. I for one, have had a good time just walking around. I've done more exercise than I ever would do on a daily basis. Catch you two later. I looked at Shisui. Where are you going? Shisui. You've got this. Remember what I told you when you were walking Naruko home? Just improvise. Me. She isn't Naruko tilde. Is something wrong? Kara asked. I shook my head, not at all. Curse Shisui. After dad, he and I are going to have a long talk about how he bails out on me. Naruko's POV. The first thing I did when I woke up was pat the other side of the bed. Naruto was gone. I threw the covers off of me. Naruto? He was nowhere to be seen. I jumped off the bed and opened the door. At the end of the hall, light escaped from a room. I tiptoed into the hallway and did my best to close the door quietly. I walked down the hall and peeked my head into the room. It was a kitchen and Naruto was sitting on the stool, humming happily next to Yashimaru. I stepped into the room. What's happening? Oh, Naruko-san. Yashimaru hugged me. You looked so engrossed in sleep that I didn't want to wake you. Naruto handed me a small mirror and I looked at my reflection. My hair was standing up on all ends. I looked like I had been shocked by electricity. I quickly used my left hand and slicked my hair back. So Yashimaru, I leaned over his shoulder. What are you making? Just breakfast. Steamed rice, miso soup and grilled fish. Yashimaru told me. I took some soy sauce from the top of the cabinet and poured it over the fish. And Naruko-san? Yashimaru looked at me. I put my hand up. Trust me. I've made this various times. It tastes delicious. I put my hand over his and used the spatula to press the fish down on the grill. His hands were oddly sweaty. But I didn't mind. I deal with Naruto's messy hands when they've been who knows where. See, the key to cooking it is to make it show the grill marks. Especially if they're charcoal black. That means it's been cooked thoroughly. I told him. Okay. Yashimaru was sweating heavily. Are you okay? I looked at him. Yashimaru let go of the spatula and backed away. I think I'm just a little too hot. I haven't taken a shower yet. Maybe if I cool off I'll feel better. He's acting really weird. I thought to myself. Alright, I'll finish up. I grabbed another apron. Yashimaru left the kitchen and I switched off the rice. It was cooked enough. Then I added a little bit of flavoring to the soup and covered the pot. It was just the fish that were left. I covered the rest of them in soy sauce and grilled them to perfection. Naruto sat happily at the table. I decided to engage in conversation. Why are you so happy? I wanted to know. Gaara is one of my new friends. Naruto smiled. But don't you have Sasuke and Tilda? Don't freeze up Naruko. Say his name. It's not like it'll do anything. I told myself. Don't you have Sasuke and Itachi? Don't forget Shisui. Naruto reminded me. My point exactly. I'm not saying that you should get new friends. I just don't get why you're so excited. I told him truthfully. How'd I explain it? Naruto looked up. Sasuke's cool and all. But he doesn't understand what it's like to be lonely. You're lonely? This shocked me. What am I? A potato? Naruto seemed to read my mind. Now that you're here I'm not lonely. I'm talking about before when no one would talk to me. I had no friends. Gaara's been feeling the same way. That's why, I want to spend a lot of time with him. Nate-chan, you made me happy. I can do the same for Gaara. I ruffled his hair. You're only 6 and yet you sound like an old man. Don't grow up too fast, Naruto. Itachi's pav. I walked down the streets of Konoha with Kara by my side. We hadn't really spoke in the past 10 minutes. Think, what's a good way to start a conversation? I racked my brain trying to remember. If she was Naruko, we could go into the different types of food there are around the world and Tilda. I thought of her again. Get her out of your mind. Then it came to me. Hey Kara. She looked up. Yes? Well, I was just wondering. Why do you want to marry me? I asked. She didn't seem like she wanted to answer. Her eyes were all over the place. It's probably because we're in public. I realized. I grabbed Kara's hand. Let's go somewhere private. Kara's face turned tomato red, but she followed me anyways. We ended up sitting down at an empty restaurant. The cashier there said it was fine. So, will you tell me why you want to marry me? I asked Kara. Kara squeezed her hands tightly together. Well, that's because Her voice faded. What? I cupped my hand to my ear. I like you. Kara looked away. This is awkward. I put my hand behind my head. But you know I like another person, right? I told Kara. She nodded her head. I know. And whenever I think of her I get so angry I can't function. You wouldn't try to do anything to her, right? I was worried about Naruko. Kara waved her hand. Never. But when I see you, Itachi-sama, stressing over another girl I can't help but feel jealous. That is love. I couldn't help but feel bad. Kara I backquote. Her watch beeped. I've got to go. The mission. Wait, let me come with you. I begged. What? Kara wasn't ready for that. I want to help you. We still have to talk. I stood up. Kara scratched her cheek. I guess. Come on. Naruto's pav. Nate-chan, that breakfast was delicious. I told her. She smiled. I'm glad you thought so. I agree. Gaara's dad walked into the room. Thought it's a little embarrassing having a guest cook for us. Nate-chan finished washing the plates. Staying here was not in the initial plan, so I'm happy to help. I drummed my fingers on the table. Gaara was still sleeping. Naruko's POV. Naruto seems really bored now that Gaara isn't awake. Maybe I should talk to him. I wondered. Again, Rasa spoke. I really can't thank you enough for getting Gaara to sleep. I sat down on their sofa. It's nothing, seriously. I would have done the same if it was Naruto or anyone in the leaf. I turned to face him. Speaking of which, if we head out now, do you think we'll get there by midnight or tomorrow morning? Do you have to leave so soon? Karora walked into the living room. I nodded my head. I have to report to the Sandame. He might be getting worried. I could send him a letter, Rasa suggested, express delivery. He'd get in 2 hours. Well, I looked from Rasa's anxious face to Karora's worried smile. Okay. I guess it wouldn't hurt to stay another day. Excellent. Karora sat next to me. I can have Yashimaru give you a tour around the village. That would be pretty cool. I haven't really done any exploring since I got here. I admitted. Naruto exhaled loudly. Can't forget him. I smiled in my head. Can Naruto come along? I asked. Well, Rasa looked at him. If he wants to, it's fine. But I was thinking that Tamari and Kankuro would take him to the playground. You know, let him interact with others. It's your call, Naruto. I looked at him. Playground or tour? Playground. Naruto put his hands up in the air. Playground it is. I repeated his answer. When can Yashimaru take me out on the tour? Right now. Yashimaru stepped into the room with a towel draped around his shoulders. He dried his hair as he walked over to me. Are you ready? Definitely. Let's go. I got up. Yashimaru pulled on his sandals. See you later, Kara, Rasa, Naruto. I grabbed his hand. Let's go. This is going to be fun. Shisui's POV. Itachi's on the move. With Kara? I couldn't believe my eyes. Even though I had made it look like I had left them alone, I was actually following them the entire time. Where are they going? That was a silly question. I hopped into the Uchiha Manor, so they're coming back home. But why? Itachi and Kara went into their separate rooms. Well, I guess they can't be doing that. I wonder what's going on. My curiosity was piqued. Itachi came out of his room with this Anbu gear on. He knocked on Kara's door. After a minute, she opened it. This looks serious. I'd better change too. I slipped into my room quietly. Itachi's POV. I heard a door click close, but when I looked out in the hallway no one was there. Must have been my imagination. I knocked on Kara's door. Are you ready? Just a minute. Kara answered. I leaned against the door and sighed. Maybe I should just tilde. The door opened and I immediately got off. I'm ready. Kara announced. Good, we're going to be a little late. I ran out of the manor. Can you believe it, Nei-chan? Naruto looked at me, his eyes shining. From today forth, I am a true shinobi, ninja. Of course I can believe it. You're my brother, aren't you? I smiled widely. Watch out, Nei-chan. Before you know it, I'll become super strong and you won't even know it. Naruto grinned mischievously. I'd hate to ruin the moment by telling him I'm already a chunin. I thought to myself, alright? Let's see if you can live up to that promise. Ah, Nei-chan. Naruto looked at the clock. It's 8:15. I'm gonna be late. Calm down. I stopped him from leaving the house. Daylight savings starts today. So it's actually, I set the clock, 7:15. Nei-chan, didn't daylight savings end today? Naruto asked. I looked at the calendar and put my finger on today's date, August 1st. It had been circled with red marker and small words had been scribbled, don't forget. Daylight savings ends today. Oh shoot. I pushed Naruto out of the house. Hurry, Naruto. Your team might have already been assembled. Why are you pushing me? Naruto ran faster. You woke me up late. We can discuss this after we get to the building. Let's just focus on getting you there. I grabbed Naruto, tossed him onto my shoulders and hopped from rooftop to rooftop. People in the streets stopped and stared at the commotion we were causing. But I didn't care. It's not good to make lateness a habit. Thought it is my fault Naruto didn't wake up. I shook my head. Now's not the time for that. Damn it, legs. You can go faster than this. I sprinted onto the road and dodged pedestrians. Slow down, Nei-chan. Naruto was flailing about. You're going to end up smacking into the building at this point. It doesn't matter. I increased my speed, as long as you can get to that meeting. I threw Naruto towards the building and he went crashing through the doors. He rubbed his head. Ow, that hurt. Sorry, I picked him up off the ground, but you're here. Now get in. I shoved Naruto into the room and followed after him. The class started to laugh as Naruto sort of fell down. But when I entered the room and gave them a stern look, they all backed off. I smiled at Sasuke, already up in his seat, and he waved back. Then I noticed Itachi in the back and looked away. Sorry that he's late, I said to Iruka. Iruka shrugged it off, better late than to not show up. Could I get a little more than that? Naruto interrupted, I almost died trying to get here. Iruka shook his head, if you had gotten here on time, you wouldn't be in this situation. Naruto muttered under his breath, but walked up the middle aisle steps and took a seat next to Sasuke. Sasuke smirked at him and Naruto stuck his tongue out at him. I crept up to the top row where all the other parents and guardians were. Iruka clapped his hands, you all have graduated from the Ninja Academy and earned what it takes to become true shinobi. There is nothing left for me to teach you. I will announce the 3-man cell teams and your team leaders should show up soon. The adults started to clap and so I followed their example and clapped along with them. Now then, as for Team Kakashi, the members go as follows. Uchiha Sasuke. Itachi's Pav, so Naruko decided to come? How stupid of me, of course she'd come. Her brother is also a shinobi now. As for Team 7, the members go as follows. Uchiha Sasuke. I almost choked. I blinked a few times and looked directly at Iruka to make sure I had heard him right. Sasuke working with Kakashi? I couldn't believe it, what kind of luck is that? An ex-Anbu member with my kid brother. Haruno Sakura. I didn't really care about her, but if she was on the same team as Sasuke, that would mean she's pretty good. And last but not least, Uzumaki Naruto. You 3 will be working with Kakashi tilde. Oi, wait a minute, Iruka-sensei. Naruto raised his voice. Oh boy, I heard Naruko say. Naruto's Pav. I literally cannot get enough of Naruto in this. He's definitely going to have more appearances. Why am I on loser Sasuke's team? I demanded to know. Iruka-sensei sighed. Listen Naruto, the formation of a team has to do with scores. There's Sasuke, who had the highest score in the team. Sakura, who got a decent score and you, who got the worst score. I sank back into my chair, damn it. Sasuke shot me a look from his side, it looks like we're stuck together. Just don't get in my way. Why you tilde? I felt a terrible presence watching me. I turned around slowly and looked up at the top row. Nate-chan was staring at me with the eyes of a demon. Be quiet. It was like she spoke into my mind, or else. I sat down and folded my hands on the table surface, don't need to tell me twice. Naruko's POV. Damn it Naruto. Even after that lecture about self-restraint last night, you still didn't learn anything? I shook my head. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Itachi walking over to me. Keep calm Naruko. Relax and have a normal conversation. Itachi didn't seem uncomfortable in the least. Hey Naruko. How's it going? I cleared my throat quickly, I'm fine. What about you? Itachi shrugged his shoulders, it's great. Unless you count the sleepless nights I've had. Thanks to Sasuke's graduation, the entire clan has been throwing non-stop celebration parties. I stifled a laugh, he always knew how to make me laugh. Itachi's Pav. Just now. Naruko smiled. I thought to myself, isn't it lucky that they're on the same team? Naruko asked me. Yeah, now they'll be motivated to complete missions quicker than the other. I agreed. Naruko nodded her head and the conversation got silent. Come on Itachi. Take the initiative. I took a deep breath, so about as tilde. The door slid open and 8 team leaders stepped into the room. They all introduced themselves. Kakashi wasn't among them. That's good. I don't have to deal with him just yet. I turned back to Naruko but she was no longer next to me. I looked around and she was walking down the side row. She left the room and I smacked myself in the forehead. All that time I took to gather courage. Kakashi's Pav. I'm a liar, right? I said Naruko would narrate most of the story. Now almost every character has had their own Pav. I lied, and I will keep lying. Hashtag sorry not sorry. I walked down the village street. I'm supposed to be meeting my students right now. Oh well. A few minutes late couldn't hurt. That's what you always said. Right, Obito? Naruko's POV. I watched the Genins file out with their team leaders. None of them were Kakashi-sensei. Maybe he's running late? I looked up at the clock built into the wall. Naruto will be fine if I leave him for a few minutes. He's a shinobi now, right? But the thought of Naruto with a kunai all by himself worried me even more. I shook my head. Come on Naruko. He's a big boy now. He'd definitely be hurt if I couldn't trust him. And with that I walked out of the building. Naruto's Pav. All the other guys had left with their team leaders. Their parents were gone too. Only Sasuke, Sakura, Itachi and I remained. Where's our team leader? I asked out loud. Don't know. He's probably running late, Itachi said. That pissed me off. Sure, I might run late for a few things, but a team leader is the boss of the group. He should be here. I'm gonna play a prank on him. I went to the chalkboard and took the dry eraser. Idiot, he's a high-level shinobi, he's not gonna fall for that. Sasuke told me. I made a face, then there won't be a problem. He'll dodge it and we won't have a problem. Naruko's POV. Just as I walked out the front door I bumped into someone. He was reading a book so I couldn't get mad at him. Sorry, I realized he wasn't even listening. I put my face up his chest. Hello? He looked down. Oh. Sorry, didn't see you there. It's fine. I bumped into you anyways. You shouldn't read while walking. I stepped back. Are you lost? I'm actually the leader of Team 7. I'm running late. He told me. Team 7? That means you're Kakashi-sensei? I couldn't believe it. He smiled through his mask, the one and only. Itachi's paw. I don't like this. Hitaki Kakashi was never late for one mission. He always came prepared. If he's coming late before I could finish my thoughts, the sliding door opened. The chalk eraser Naruto had placed on top fell onto Naruko. Naruto, you're as good as dead. Sasuke laughed. A soft object fell on her head before sliding to the floor. She looked down and there was a white puff before it evaporated in the air. It took her minute to realize what had happened, and when she did, Naruto. Naruto's face turned pale. Ne-chan? But why are you Tilda? I mean, Kakashi-sensei was supposed to walk through the door first. That's when I noticed Kakashi was behind her. Kakashi and Naruko together? What is going on? Nice to meet you guys. I'm Hitaki Kakashi, your team leader. Everyone, let's get along.